Welcome guys. Today I'm going to be testing something. That's to see whether you can do more damage with a mage setup or a damage setup, and which one does faster bosses against Enderman. So I'm going to start out with a damage setup. I have my power set on Scorching because the attack speed is really nice. I know some do a little bit more damage, but they don't have the attack speed. So I'm going to test with this setup first, and then I'm going to test with the mage setup and see which one could get faster bosses. So for the gear I have a Molten set, some pieces of Veteran and Ender Resistance, nothing really special. A Warden Helmet, basically as maxed as it should be, and 2 pieces of 5-star Burning Crimson, and then 10-star Hot Boots. So the attributes are not really set up to do any more damage or anything like that. So my Atom Split is mostly tier 7. So it's going to probably get a lot more damage in than a regular tier 5 Hyperion, which is what I use for my mage setup. And I will be using explosive arrows with the Terminator because it makes the hit phase go a lot faster. But I also use summons at the same time to keep the boss in one place just to make it go a little bit faster. It's not a lot. Sword of Bad Health increases the damage by a little bit, so I will also use that. And Endstone Sword will keep me alive. A lot of people use a hype to just get absorption to keep them alive. But I found that Endstone Sword is just easier, and it's a lot more reliable because it decreases the damage that you take for a longer period of time. So it's just, I find it better. I have a Pigman Sword, which I use for mage. I would use it for damage, except that I find Endstone Sword is still better. So I will now test with my damage setup to see which is better. Alright, and this should spawn the boss. And here we go. So that was decent. I've done some better. Hopefully that doesn't throw anything off. Okay, it won't. I have done some faster than this, but it appears to be going smoothly so far. Alright, about 50 seconds flat. Not my best time, but it's not the worst. So for my mage setup, I have a Pigman Sword with a hype. I'm using full Final Destination set up for mage. I know that Aurora is like slightly better, except it's way easier to die, which makes it not worth it in my opinion. I know after you get to like Infernal Aurora, it's definitely worth it. If you get probably Burning or Fiery, it would also be worth it, but mine is not that good, so it's not worth it to test in Aurora. The damage is barely off that of Final Destination, so I'm going to be using this. And my hype is like tier 5 and tier 6. Not the best. Pigman Sword, and I'm going to be using the same idea as the damage setup. We're going to be using Explosive Bow and Summons to make the hits phase go a lot faster. And now we need to actually start the quest and see what happens when we spawn it. Okay, so that didn't go super well. Okay, so 165 mil, that's decent. I don't have a soul whip on me because I just don't find them to actually get enough to be worth it. They kind of just like take up space. I find that if you just hold a height, you end up getting more regeneration, but I'm not 100% sure. It could be slightly different, I'm not sure, but the numbers are close enough to the same. Alright, 11. We're gonna see this is probably a decent speed. No, don't help. This is an experiment. 52.9. So, now the thing is, if I were to upgrade the height to the point where the atom split is and get really nice aurora, RCM would definitely outclass the damage setup. Except right now, they do appear to both be viable, like, in general. So, damage setups are still worth it. RCM isn't the only way to go. Well, that was not fully expected. I was expecting to see much better numbers from RCM, and I didn't think damage set would be viable at all, but it seems like you could use both of them and they would both be decent. Now, RCM would definitely be better if you had a ton of money to spend on like Infernal Aurora, good attributes, but if you probably don't have enough for all that, a damage setup like this is totally okay. It will work just fine. You don't need a tier 7 atom split, that's kind of overkill. You can get just like a tier 5, maybe tier 6, it will work just fine. And I think that will do it for today's episode. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.